Welcome to episode 126 of the Sports Marketing Machine Podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy Nizer. Today, I sit down with Nick Richardson, Vice President of Ticket Retention and New Business with the Texas Rangers. He and I talk about service-first selling and how the Rangers are redefining ticketing success, and it looks like two different things. We talk about trends in ticket plans and fan buying behavior, kind of really what fans value most. Is it price, flexibility, experiences, perks? We dive into that, but also we dive into the topic of building a culture of service first in ticket sales and service, and what his core principles are and how that's embedded into their sales philosophy. It's a great podcast episode if you're looking to continue to develop and grow your ticket sales staff and know what's actually working at the highest level. Let's dig in. Super excited to welcome Nick Richardson from the Texas Rangers to the podcast. Nick, welcome to the podcast.
Oh, Jeremy, thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to spending some time with you today.
So you've been with the Rangers 20 plus years. You've seen so much from the ticket sales side, the ticket retention, customer service, all of the above. So we're going to dig into a lot of different topics today, but let's just talk a little bit about the evolution of ticket plans and what's resonating now. Before it used to be just season tickets, and then mini plans came along, and then it was the memberships and a lot of different variations of this. What's kind of working now, and what are you seeing that fans are really gravitating more towards, and is there a specific reason?
Sure. When I started, it was full season, half season, and then we had a 24 game plan and a 14 game plan. Like, why 24 and 14, Mm-hmm. And so now, in today's world, we offer, obviously, still full. We offer a half that is every other game. Instead of a pre-selected best 40 games, it alternates every other game, whether you pick the A plan or the B plan. We have 20-game plans, which cuts that in half, right? And we have preset plans plus choice or fans' choice plans. And then we've created some 10-game plans and things like that, some flex options and different things. I think that the interesting thing is every market is a little bit different. There's in MLB, they have subscription model plans. There's a lot of teams finding a tremendous amount of success with that. Multiple years ago, we tried it. We're in Arlington, so we're between Dallas and Fort Worth. And we're not in a real downtown, high-rise, last-minute decision area. Mm-hmm. And if you know anything about DFW, it's very large. And so you oftentimes don't make those last-minute decisions to go to a game. And when we tried the subscription model, it simply just did not work. It did not sell. It did not resonate with fans. They were more plan ahead and pre-select their games, know what they're coming to, and those types of things. Then this year, because we have such a robust theme and community night and item type single game ticket side of our business, mm-hmm. we created a plan around that because I think we all know that people like stuff.
Yep.
They want something on top of just the ticket, whether it's an experience or it's an item, something they can take with them. So we created two different plans that were tied to the theme and community nights. And it was a limited time only because we got to order the items on top of what we normally order. So we created these exclusive limited time offer 10-game packs that they didn't get any sort of season ticket benefits, but they were guaranteed the theme and community night items, and it went up to 10 tickets. Then we created now another 10-game flex plan where they can choose what they want. It's kind of an entry point to get in. They get to buy in a pre-sale fashion 2 postseason games, either wild card division series or then championship series, but no World Series, so it's watered down. They don't get discounts or gifting or anything like that. They can get the promo pack or the promo items when they enter the stadium, but nothing's guaranteed, right? So that entry point. So there's a lot of diversity amongst this. We still have extremely strong full season ticket packages. And a lot of that is because of premium and the experience package that we put together that comes along with it, entices people to go that route. We will likely roll back out and try again a subscription model plan next year and see how that goes, being in the new ballpark. But you really do see it all, and it is market dependent. I think what matters most, and I think this kind of goes into your next question of what fans value, price is important, but flexibility, experience, and perks, what they get with their money is key. People will spend an enormous amount of money for either exclusivity, special club space, food and beverage inclusion, or item inclusion. So they don't have to come. We rolled out a promo pack this year, which we've never done. We were all kind of anti that because it's a lot of manual labor and work behind the scenes to pull it off. But in year one, we sold a little over 2,000 packages to full and half. And you have to be a full and half renewal account only. So 20 games can't get it. 10 games can't get it, and you can't be a rookie account. That's your hook to get you to renew into year two, is you can lock these items in. And people went crazy for them because they don't have to show up and they're guaranteed that item. Or if they bless somebody with their tickets or they're using them for business, they're locking them in because they want the stuff.
Yeah, when you talk about the value side of things, typically you see single game buyers, and you look at them, the marketing side's like, all right, I got to get them to multiple games. If I can get them to multiple games, then the ticket sales team can do their part and what have you. Are you seeing a lot more flex plans is really that early entry, or the smaller level mini plans?
For us, still to this day, it's still the smaller mini plans. I think some of that is by choice. We haven't gone into the whole flex plan world as deep as some other teams have. I do believe, though, that is going to be one of the critical pieces to the future of the industry, because like iTunes, right, the culture that we're about to really start selling to grew up on selecting only what they want.
Yep.
And whether that's Amazon or that's iTunes or whatever it is, they want it now, they want it how they want it, and they only want that particular thing. And so I think it's going to be a growing part of our industry. I think you're going to see a lot of the subscription models take off for more teams, especially your more urban downtown teams where last minute group of friends at work want to go and they've got these subscription models and they can choose whether to go or not. And it's ultra cheap, standing room only, get in the building, and then you can upgrade the seats once you get in. I think a lot of that is going to take off more in the future because of people's desire to do it their way and to just simply invest in it, but not be tied to having to unload tickets all the time or having to find people or having to resell. I think that stuff will still be there, but yeah, you're going to find a lot more elevated on the mini packs or the fat flex 10s, or we might even consider rolling out 5 this year. And that's our entry point of stepping people up. They're paying more per game than obviously the other groups will. They might have a perk or two that we add in. Just finding a little hooks to get them coming more often, and then allowing our team to potentially hopefully grow them over time.
Yeah, the customer service side and the retention side as well. Do you feel that the flex plans from a retention perspective are a whole lot harder to keep people using the tickets versus here's your 5 games, we know what games they are, we know what days you're coming to?
Yes. A lot of that is people tend to not be very schedule oriented. And if it's not scheduled, then they forget. Or it's not top of mind. And so I think when teams do this, there has to be a consistent nature of outreach or touch points to keep those top of mind. We've done some flex style options in the past, and we wind up at the end of the year with a healthy number of people that have only come to maybe 50% of what they bought. And so, yeah, keeping them engaged, but also keeping them on board for the next year and the next year because I didn't get my value for it because I only came to half of it. And so there has to be some intentionality behind the outreach and the service piece or even marketing piece behind that to make sure that you are staying engaged. It might make sense to do a couple exclusive events during the year. I don't know if you want to call it a catch on the field or some sort of event that engages them mid-season as a reminder to the value that they purchased. But yes, you do see that because it's just not a scheduled commitment.
Yeah, and the season tickets, specifically in the minor league, a lot more teams are shifting away from the hard tickets because they would go in to renew the season ticket holder, and the season ticket holder open his drawer and pull out the big old stack of tickets. And I'm not going to renew. I've got 200 tickets in my hand. So the benefits of the digital side. Have you ever had fans kind of push back on the digital side of having a ticket plan, but it's all digital?
We did early on. Then the folks that we started to convert, they started buying in once they figured it out. I think it was a fear of the technology. Then when we moved into the new ballpark, we just made the decision to completely rip the Band-Aid off. Like, this is the only option. And now the only tickets that we will print are, say, you're bringing out a group of kids and they're young, they don't have phones, and you want each kid to have their ticket, then we charge a fee to print. And it's, 0 to 1 to, I think 50 tickets is one price. Anything over 50 tickets is another price. Then there will be a few companies that like hard tickets for like a sweet nature or whatnot. Their fear is sending out all of those tickets digitally, and so I'll pay for it. However, we do have tools that make it really easy for them to send them out. They just are afraid that the receiver won't understand the technology and will flub it up some way.
Sure.
And so they're kind of worried about that. Or on the flip side, not bringing out young kids, but bringing out older folks that maybe it's a nursing home or something of that nature, and they just don't have the technology to access the tickets. Those are the instances where we would do a printed ticket, but they do have to pay a fee to have them printed. Outside of that, we're all digital. It doesn't matter if it's an individual single game ticket, season ticket package, whatever. And tons of pushback early on. And then now people see how easy it is to use, how convenient it is, and they're all bought in. And so it just, sometimes it's that short learning curve. We were very intentional about, when we first rolled it out, how-to videos. Easy walkthrough, writing it out. I send out, and I guess we as an organization send out every year a preseason letter that talks about new things in the ballpark, an adjustment to the technology, things to remember. Here's if your discount doesn't work in your app, here's what you do. It's really equipping them with information to, if the technology fails, here's what you do to get it fixed, or here's what you do to get your discount, or whatever it may be. That reassures people that, hey, there's an alternative if this thing doesn't work. Don't worry about it. We got it.
Yeah, love it. And I think part of that question also kind of relays into the fan feedback, behavioral data. How much do you all look into surveying fans, fan feedback to really start to craft how you communicate, the packages that you create? What does that all look like for you to kind of gather a lot of data from a lot of people to put this all together?
Sure. So we do a bit of surveying, and some of that is post-game attendance surveying, and that's most of the time individual buyers. And we're benchmarking against the league and seeing, and it's driven by MLB, and of course we participate, but we see, and it's everything from ingress, egress of parking, ingress, egress of the building, cleanliness, friendliness of the staff, ease of navigating the building, sight lines, all the things that have to do with your experience going to the game. And then we use that to try to simply equip our staff, not just ticket sales, but our staff globally, on improving the experience of people coming here to the ballpark. Then to get more granular when it relates to season tickets, we are doing season ticket serving both mid-year and end of year. And then we compare and contrast those with our analytics team to see, okay, did we elevate something? Did we fall short of something? The first half, the team wasn't playing good, so the compliments or comments were a little bit more negative.
Sure.
Versus the team played great in the second half, and so heck, everybody's happy.
Yep.
And so that we know team performance factors and waves in on everything that we do, but what's consistent? What's consistently good? What's consistently bad? What approach do we need to take to fix? And wildly enough, I typically, when that survey comes in, I will read every open text comment that is on their overall experience. And that's been insightful for me. From an entry standpoint. Does it make sense to talk to operations and give them 1 day a week? Because used to the old ballpark, before we moved into Globe Life Park, it was open 30 minutes every single game for all season ticket members before general public. Well, that's costly.
Yep.
Every Rangers employee, every Delaware North employee, everybody has to be set 30 minutes earlier, and 30 minutes times 2,000 employees, parking, concessions, guest services, ticket, all that, it adds up. And I don't want to put a number on it, but it's in the 5 figures every single game. And so when we moved over here, first season that we were fully open, we did not do that one time. It was just all gates open at one time. And we do open gates earlier than most teams. So a lot of teams are an hour and a half before game time. We're 2 hours. And we had some pushback there. So we said, okay, let's work with ops and compromise, and let's find one game. Most people, they're not coming from work. They're not having to drive all the way to Arlington from work and last minute getting here late. Let's pick Saturday. Are you open to having an opportunity for fans to come in on Saturday if they're a Lone Star member or season ticket holder and view Rangers BP 30 minutes earlier than everybody else? Yep, we're open to it. Cool. So we did it, and we created Lone Star member gates that are specific to them, and those like little things that create that value add and that feeling of being special to add to their experience really go a long way. And so reading through those comments led us to do that. Reading through those comments led us to doing a promo pack. I didn't really want to do it. I'm not going to lie. I'm over in a warehouse twice a year now for
Counting
2 days
bobbleheads.
packaging these things up. And then another day of passing them out. And they drive through. They tell us what their account number is. All right, hey, 4 medium packages and 4 extra large packages. They go to the next gate or next garage door, and somebody loads it into their car to make it. It's a good experience,
Sure.
but man, it's a lot of extra manual labor work that it takes me away from the day to day. But through reading their comments and knowing they wish there was a way, we did it. So that's the surveying piece, and really listen to feedback. Our SVP, Dan Hessling, and I spend a ton of time in the ballpark on game days, engaging fans, looking what's going wrong, what's going right, who can we bless, who can we direct, and really kind of teaching our staff to live that same kind of game day lifestyle, if you will. All the feedback we get can turn into something. Can we do everything? No. But can we try? Yes. Or can we at least vet it out and see if it's worthwhile? Absolutely.
Yeah, I love surveys. I think oftentimes teams look at surveys like a report card. We did this well, we did this bad, and what have you. But it sounds like from your perspective, it's beyond just a report card. It actually gives us short-term things we need to adjust and long-term things we can adjust. Like, it's simple. You see in there that a season ticket holder got a cold hot dog. Next time you come, you buy them a hot dog. Piece of cake. But the long-term things are promotional packages and understanding where fans are coming from, and fans who are 2 kids at home, they really like to buy these types of things. Those types of insightful data is absolutely magical for teams, and I love how you guys are using it. It's just marvelous. But it also parlays into our kind of next topic here of building a culture around tremendous customer service. And I think you guys have some core principles that you start with when you start training people. Kind of talk through what that looks like.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of pieces that go into this. Obviously, operations is a part of that. Our senior director of guest services, he comes from a Disney background, and we work really close with them to try to elevate the guest experience. And then us as a leadership team, a few years ago, we said, okay, what do we stand for and who are we? And we wanted to define that. And then that turned into developing, 5 core principles that it's our foundation as people are joining our team. Mm-hmm. So every interview that we have, we're talking about that. If we're doing one-on-ones with our team, we're talking about those core principles. And, each word has a definition, but we have this huge acrylic on the wall that has the words and the way we are defining them as an organization. And those are ownership, mindset, unity, integrity, and intentionality. Those are the 5 words we kind of land on. There were other words that we all liked. For instance, purpose. Mm-hmm. And, another one would be team pride. And so we wove those words that we liked, but they weren't the key critical words, into the definitions of each word. Mm-hmm. And so we tried to create this thing that would unify us, that we could all point to no matter what we were doing, no matter how good or bad it was. This is the type of behavior and mindset and mentality that we want to have when it comes to engaging our customers and being good stewards of our organization and our department as a whole. And this is just Rangers Ticket Sales Department. This is not a global organization-wide core principle piece. And when we bring people in from a coaching standpoint, obviously we're salespeople, but we're also service people and relationship builders. And our goal is not to sell somebody something. Our goal is to pair them with the right product that matches the results they're trying to achieve. And if we take that approach, it is very service-minded, because if they don't achieve the results that they're trying to achieve, they're not coming back.
Correct.
And so trying to go above and beyond and to make their experience one that entices them, that I want that again. And I think about something that we did recently. And this did not make us any money. And I think that's the approach you have to take from a sales standpoint. And we've been very intentional about equipping our salespeople with things and autonomy to make decisions on surprise and delight items or special experiences and things like that. So they on a whim can say, oh, I need to go bless this person tonight. I'm going to do this. And they have things that they can do that with. But the cool thing about our industry is we are very close-knit. Mm-hmm. So the tough part is if you make one team mad as an employee, you're not going to get hired by another, because we all talk to each other, right?
Yep, that's correct.
So I make a lot of jokes about that. But we're so tightly knit that I got an email from my friend Richard Thornton with the Braves, and he's on their ticket sales leadership side. And he said, I've got a season ticket holder of ours who is coming to your ballpark on Sunday. This was this past Sunday. This is his 30th and final ballpark. I said, okay, that's cool. Number one, it's us. Mm-hmm. Number two, you're being intentional with your people. Mm-hmm. And so he's like, anything you can do to make it special. I said, all right, let me go to work on this. So we have made a habit of the last few years. If there's a death, if there's a birth, if there's a celebration of some sort, if there's a hardship, if there's an anniversary, of creating these 11 by 17 posters that have some sort of meaningful jersey on it with their name and numbers. If it's an anniversary, it's 60th anniversary, whatever. Mm-hmm. And then having the sales team sign it and write little meaningful notes on it. Mm-hmm. And then giving it to them. And 30 ballparks is a pretty big achievement. Mm-hmm. There's very few people that ever do that. And so I went with our graphics team and I'm like, here's what we're doing. How can we make this special? Well, he comes back to me and says, I got an idea. Let's don't do the cookie cutter. Let me design something specifically for this. So he made this great design. our theme this year it's very neon.
Mm-hmm.
And so the letters are neon and things. So from a marketing campaign standpoint, he goes 30th in neon, and Globe Life Field has a background of the field in there. The 30's real big on it. And then down below, he had he sourced out a actual hard metal plate.
Mm-hmm.
And it has the guy's name. Congratulations on completing your visit to all 30 ballparks. It had the date in which he was here, our logo, the Globe Life Field logo, and then we matted it and framed it.
Mm-hmm.
And I just simply emailed the guy and I said, hey, my man, congratulations. I heard from Richard with the Braves. So now he's like, oh, man, the Braves are thinking about me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then I've got something for you. I got something for you. I want to bring it to you on Sunday. Email me when I just shot him an email me when you arrive.
Mm-hmm.
So he emails me. I go down to his seats. He brought 4 other guys with him. This is like a dude's trip, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so I go down there, and I've got this thing, and a rep went with me, and she took some pictures of the whole thing. But we get down there, and I said, I simply wanted to say, number 1, congratulations. This is a huge feat.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, thank you for being a fan of our sport and the game of baseball. And we just wanted to congratulate you, and so we got you this. I hand him this framed in glass celebration of him completing 30 ballparks. And dude, his face was just like a ghost. Like, he didn't even know what to say. He didn't know how to react. And his 4 buddies are over here. I mean, like he won the World Series. Let's go. I mean, cheering him on and all of that. And he starts grinning from ear to ear because he was just, I think, so surprised.
Mm-hmm.
Jeremy, it cost us $70.
Mm-hmm.
That's it, right?
Yep.
I know they bought those tickets individually for way more than $70.
Mm-hmm.
And so the impact that it made on him was significant. The impact it made, how valued he looked in front of his buddies, was significant. Then I said, it's glass. I can wrap it up. I can take it back with me. I can wrap it up and ship it to you. And before he could even answer, one of his buddies goes, no. We're keeping that. We'll go to the UPS store tomorrow. We'll ship it ourselves. And I'm like,
cool.
Sweet.
Yeah.
That's cool. And then today I got an email from our senior director of guest services that went from one person in the Braves organization to another, to another, to another, to another, with photos of this thing, of him with this. And then it made it to their guest services person. Then they went back to our guest services person, which then went back to me. Mm-hmm. And their comments were like, this is above and beyond. This is something we need to pay attention to. This is how we want customers to feel. And that's the industry that we're in. We get to make those magical moments for people that hopefully, no matter what's going on in the world, like, they can come here and feel like this is an escape and a place of joy and fun, regardless of team performance.
Yeah, love it. Such a marvelous story, and I love your approach. I love the Braves. I love how the entire story rolled out. Just marvelous in general. I just love it. It's just awesome. When you start to think about those magical moments, obviously Disney does a tremendous job. Is there specific brands that you look and you follow? Chewy's really known. Savannah Bananas are really known for their above and beyond. Are there some brands that you follow that really you can kind of steal some ideas from?
Right, absolutely. I don't know if there's. I look at a lot at, like, the way I shop. I look at that a lot. What is meaningful to me, and I think we all know that customer service is just simply gone downhill in today's age. So when I'm going to a fine dining restaurant, like, what does that experience look like? Why is it different than going to a fast food place? And what are the fast food places that their experience is elevated, and what do they do? And how do you feel when you go in there? What's the greeting look like? If you're at our sales booth on a game day and you can see a customer in the distance coming, are you just waiting for them to get here? Oh, hey, how can I help you? Or are you eagerly just sitting there waiting and smiling at them as they walk up? Because the way they engage with you, whether they're angry about something or they're happy about something, may change based on your interaction to start it off and how welcoming you are to them. So I think about, when you go to a place of business, how that makes me feel, and then trying to replicate that here, and kind of coach people on what those key ingredients are. There's a book called Unreasonable Hospitality by Will, I think it's pronounced Gadara. He was in the restaurant business, and I don't know if you've read it. I don't know if you've even heard of it, but he starts out at the bargain bottom basement position in the restaurant business, and then his journey and the struggles, the good times, the bad times of taking a restaurant in New York City to being the number one restaurant in the world. And he talks specifically about being strategic about the communication. And he tells a story in that book that I thought is really cool because it's very insignificant, and this bleeds into our philosophy. It didn't cost him anything or very little, but the experience was good. He overheard a table talking about all the experiences they had in New York. They had their luggage with them. So he knew they're either coming to town or they're flying out, right? So they either chose them for their first meal or their last meal. He gathered it was their last meal because they were talking about all the things they had done. And they said, man, the one thing we didn't do was get a street hot dog. He walks out of his restaurant, goes and buys a street hot dog, comes in, takes it to the chef, which was not having it, but he cashed in his. They each had what they would call this is a necessity chip, if you will. Sure. I need you to do this, even though you don't want to, because they agreed on a certain number that they would do every year. I need you to. They cut the hot dog in 4 pieces. They dressed it up a little bit, made it look swanky because it's a nice establishment. And he took it to them and said, I overheard you guys talking about not getting a street dog. I wanted to make sure that you didn't leave New York without one. They will never forget that moment, and they will never forget that restaurant, and they will talk about that to other people. And those types of little things are what leads to creating fans, not just loyal customers, but fans. Loyal customers keep coming back. Fans tell other people about what you're doing. 100%. And so that's really where we want to go. Are we there? No. I don't think you'll ever get there, right? Because you're never going to get everybody to take ownership and buy in and become a fan. But little by little, that's where I and the rest of our leadership team here with the Rangers really want to take this thing.
Yeah, I interviewed the Chief Marketing Officer, Steve Robinson of Chick-fil-A, and he was the original Chief Marketing Officer. And you just echoed a lot of his sentiments about those little small moments and overhearing and surprising and delighting and really focusing on the experience side of things. Because the dollar's going to come and people are going to keep coming as long as you treat them right and they feel like they got a good value out of it. So with your ticket sales rep, there's one way to judge them. They're putting numbers up or they're not. But how do you judge them from a customer service side of things?
I believe a lot of that boils down to understanding the amount of intentional face time they're getting with people. And seeing, so from a metric standpoint, one thing we measure every week is the number of face-to-face contacts during a homestand. So if there's no homestand, it's going to be a 0. If it's a homestand, there should be numbers on there. Whether you sold something, meaning a suite or a group for that homestand, all of us have season ticket holders here, every homestand.
Yep.
So what does that look like? Is it 5? That's okay. Is it 10? Is it 15? All right, now we're getting somewhere. Are you being intentional about getting face-to-face with these customers? Because you're not now just the voice on the other end of a phone line or the fingers at the other end of a keyboard or an email, right? So thinking about that and measuring those metrics. And then I go hang out at the booth with these guys and watch them engage customers. And when customers come up and the endearment factor, if they want to come out from behind the table and hug the customer, or the customer shows a level of excitement in seeing them, I know that rep's doing a good job.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, when you're creating those fans want to brag about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're a good quality rep, your customer, your fan, wants to brag about you. So then getting those, and I tell every rep, if one of your season ticket holders wants to brag about, one of your customers, it's a sweet rental, wants to brag about you, give them my direct email. Let them.
Mm-hmm.
Don't shy behind it. I want to hear what they have to say. And then, so seeing those things and seeing how people, oh man, this person did this person did that. They were so intentional about this. And then when I get those emails, then we recognize those sales members in our global meeting and read the actual email. And I respond and usually BCC the rep on. So one, they can see my response. Two, they can see what the person wrote about them. Mm-hmm. Those are ways that I think you try to measure that extra value. We have one rep. She is not a high performer when it comes to overall revenue production year in and year out. Mm-hmm. However, her renewal rate is always in the 90%. Now that's a ton of revenue,
sure,
right? But it's not new revenue. So she may be lower on the new revenue board, but the amount of retention revenue that she's bringing in from a full and half season ticket base is high because they keep renewing because they love her. And you measure those types of things. And whenever they may not bring the value on a day-to-day, because all of our reps sell and service their book of business. Mm-hmm. They all sell new, they all retain, they do everything. So even if they're in the group vertical or the season vertical, they sell everything. I don't want, Sam to call Jeremy and say, Jeremy, build this rapport. You got to get Rangers tickets, Jeremy. And they're a season ticket rep, but that doesn't work for you. Mm-hmm. You're a not-for-profit and you want to do a fundraiser, or you want to do a group outing, or you want to bring your family out, and do a family reunion, or do a suite, or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. But season tickets is not your jam. Why should my rep, Sam, transfer you to someone that's in the group vertical whenever he's already built a rapport with you? So we want reps to take ownership and be like, I'm running my own business under the Rangers umbrella. Mm-hmm. So I'm selling and servicing all of it and trying to create that one-stop shop. The only thing, they can't do exchanges and they can't sell individual tickets. Outside of that, they can do all the other service things. And so creating that experience of that's my go-to, that's my trusted go-to, and then enabling them through developing that relationship, upselling, cross-selling, add-ons, whatever it may be, referrals. Mm-hmm. The greatest form of flattery is an unsolicited referral whenever you're a salesperson. Yep. So allowing them to do that and build that. Now, is a group salesperson going to produce a lot more group revenue than somebody else? Absolutely. Mm-hmm. That's the way it is. That's their book of business as well. Sometimes some of it's inherited, sometimes it's built based on promotions and movements and things like that. But allowing them to do that and be intentional with each individual customer is super important to the way we do business.
Yeah, it speaks volume. I've seen so many times in the higher level of the minor leagues, and even some of the major league teams have done this before, where you build a relationship with someone and you're calling about groups and they say, you know what, groups isn't for us. We do want to buy season tickets. And you've built this rapport, built this relationship, and you got to send it on over to Sam down the street or what have you. And I just always felt like that was so cold and transactional. So I love how you guys approach it. And the second piece is just keeping a scorecard of seat visits. That's something that teams that's an enormous, marvelous takeaway. As your sales reps, you go out, you do your seat visits, and you shake hands and you say hello. You got your list of people who you know are coming for the game, and you got in your back pocket, check it off, whatever it is. But doing those seat visits, your customer service, delivering that on a consistent basis, your renewal percentage is just going to go through the roof for sure. So winding down this conversation with Nick Richardson from the Texas Rangers, last couple questions here, and these are kind of some bonus ones. AI tends to be a really popular topic. Teams are thinking, well, how do we use AI to scale our outreach? How do we use AI for our inside sales team because it's going to be cheaper than hiring these people? How do we do this? What's your approach on AI, and how do you kind of keep the blend between marvelous customer service and trying to move the revenue bucket?
Sure. I think we know any staff just simply does not have the bandwidth for the number of leads that are coming in, because you also want them to prospect and seek out new businesses and things like that. We all know that. We do use an AI tool called Conversica. In essence, it creates what seems to be a human being, right? You give it a name and it outreaches, and you put leads into it. You create the outreach cadence and how it responds to things, and then, but it does not complete transactions for us. We don't want it to complete transactions for us. We want it to warm up the lead, to take that piece off the rep's plate. But then when it comes to the true development or sell, so this does go a little bit against the you sell it, you keep it, you service it, because this AI is not a human. It's not actually making the sell. It passes them to somebody to then continue, deeper develop the relationship, make the sell, then retain and service that customer long term. I think it's really funny. My dad comes out to opening day every year, but he comes on my tickets. Mm-hmm. So he didn't pay for tickets. And he wound up in one of our funnels because his email address was tied to being forwarded tickets, and he works for a dealership that's within a 100-mile radius of the ballpark. Mm-hmm. And Rachel Banks, our AI, reached out to him, and he responded with, well, my son works there, and so I don't have any ticket needs. I'll just go through him. Do you know him? And then named me. Mm-hmm. Well, then the AI doesn't know how to respond to that.
Correct. Just throw the
so just nothing happened. And so he texts me and he's like, do you know Rachel Banks? And I'm like, yeah, she's great. She does such a great job for us. You know, how do you think she did? And did she reach out to you? Yes, she did. She reached out. I told her you were my son and asked her if she knew you, but she hasn't responded yet. I said, well, that's funny. I said, she does a really good job for us. I said, how'd she do, like, in the communication? I said, oh, she did great. She was, you know, very polite and, you know, just kind of surface level asking me questions about coming to Rangers games. And I left it. I didn't answer. I just kind of went radio silent for about an hour. And then I wrote him back and I'm like, well, Rachel Banks is an AI, and she would have passed you, if you were interested in buying, to a live rep. Mm-hmm. And I said, so the reason she didn't answer your question about me is because she doesn't know me, because she doesn't know how to answer that question. Mm-hmm. And he was like, that's crazy. I thought she was a real person. So it's doing a really good job. I think it's critical to scale and to grow that outreach. But ultimately, when you're relationship building, if you're just trying to move single tickets, it is what it is. But if you're trying to fulfill certain needs for groups and suite rentals and season tickets, you got to have that human element still in the mix, because ultimately that's where the fan part comes in. I'm a raging fan of what you do. I want to keep coming. AI can't produce that, but they can at least help us grow and scale what we're doing from an outreach standpoint.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the prospecting side of things makes total sense, but to expect them to close it, there's no chance. Having them hand it off to a rep for them to be able to deliver absolutely makes sense, and I think that's the direction. Where I get nervous is the phone calls. You get phone calls and it sounds like a real human being, but it's really not, and you're like, gosh, man, that's going to be interesting to see. But I suspect that'll be kind of the next evolution of this.
I'm very interested in that. I actually was listening to a TikTok the other day of someone doing a phone call, and they were bragging about how well it did. And I could tell it wasn't a real human. Mm-hmm. It did a good job. It still needs some work. The pauses weren't in the right place sometimes. The hesitation sometimes to collect the thoughts and There wasn't any ums. There wasn't those things where that active listening was going on. So if you tell me something, I'm like, oh, I'm actively listening. That none of that was there. So I could tell it wasn't a real person, right? But it was doing a good job. So there's a ways to go to get that implemented. I know some companies are doing it now and having some success, but it's not quite there yet. But I think it will get there, but it's never going to be a genuine human to human development.
Yeah, absolutely. Some marvelous takeaways from this conversation, just talking about creating a culture of service first, understanding the impact of fan buying behavior and how that translates into creating different types of ticket plans based on feedback. Nick, I can't thank you enough for hopping on the podcast and answering some great questions. Typically share this with marketing directors, ticketing directors throughout sports, hockey, basketball, baseball, so everyone can take some great takeaways. So just appreciate you.
It's a pleasure. Nice to meet you. I know we've emailed back and forth for a while. It's a terrific opportunity to be on here and to meet you and cover some things. And I can't thank you enough for just the outreach and taking a chance. That's what great salespeople do. They meet new people and produce quality content. So thank you for the opportunity. And if there's anything I can assist with in the future, please don't hesitate. And if you're ever wanting to come out here, please let me know.
Will do.